Portfolio Performance is a free and open-source portfolio tracker. It has support for almost all stocks and some cryptocurrencies. If it's on Yahoo Finance or the other quote providers, it has support for it. I will be covering version 0.44.1, which was the last version that supported short selling. This is important for me as I enter net credit option positions. Version 0.44.1 can be downloaded from the developer's GitHub from the link in the description below. If you make or save a file in the later versions, you will not be able to open your file. Why version 0.44.1? 0.44.1 was the last version to support the proper calculation of profits made from short selling. You can find several posts on the forum regarding this issue. In short, the software does not calculate shorting of stock. Here's an example. Short AAPL at $164.51. Closing price is $154.51 in this video. This is a $10 profit. In 0.44.1 we get a $10 profit, but 0.57.2 is not able to calculate it. Now, instead, we close our short at $160.51 for a $4 profit. In 0.44.1, we have the $4 profit, but it does not show up in 0.57.2. This is important for me because of the way I handle my net credit option positions. Even if you do not short or write options, I recommend using 0.44.1 since it is compatible with the newer versions. Files created or saved in the newer versions will not be able to be opened in 0.44.1. Now, let's get started. When you create a new file, you will be prompted to select your base currency. This will convert your profit, loss into your base currency earnings, but will you still be able to see your earnings in their individual currencies? After that, you will be prompted to add your securities and reference accounts. Securities accounts are more or less your brokerage and the reference accounts are the cash held in them. The reference account is simply the transactions you will default to when you have transactions in the securities account. You can select another one when performing transactions. You will be able to add more of both accounts later on. An example of what I use is shown above. Next, you can add more cash accounts. You can still add them later on if you missed any. Skip this step and press Next. There is an easier way to add stocks later on. For taxonomies, either add a few by double-clicking them or click Finish. Taxonomies are how you get the fancy charts. You can always add them later on and even make custom headers. I like asset classes and editing them from there. Before you can add stocks to your portfolio, you need to add them under All Securities. First, click on the All Securities tab. Next, click on the plus icon. Now, click on Create New Instrument. Enter the name and symbol for the stock you want to add. Yahoo Finance is the main quote provider, so for non-US stocks, you will need to add the exchange behind the name. The other fields are not necessary. For example, ING on the Amsterdam Stock Exchange would be INGA, while VWRA will be entered as VWRL. This is because most of the quotes will be taken from Yahoo Finance. Under the historical quotes, click the provider and select Yahoo Finance. The other quote providers might work as well, but Yahoo has good coverage. After adding the stock, you can always make changes it by right-clicking it and selecting Edit or using the Ctrl+E shortcut. Now, go to your deposit account and select your accounts that you want to add your cash balance into. After adding a deposit, right-click the account you want, click Buy, and input the required fields. Another way to buy is through the Securities account tab and doing the similar action. With these steps, you can add any stock or option transactions as long as you add the security first. Options will be covered later in the video. Taxonomies. Under the Taxonomies tab, you will get an option to add the default options or add your own. I like the default asset classes and changing it from there. After that, you can just add new labels under each folder to classify your stocks. Once you're done, the other charts will work. You can go back to the previous tab to change the labels or colors if you want. Now, benchmarks. Before you can add stocks or ETFs as a benchmark, you will need to add them under All Securities. In the bull market, a lot of people loved showing their portfolio performance without the cash drag. You can do that too. Go to either Statement of Assets, Holdings or Taxonomies and click the filter icon. Now, give a name to your filtered view. Now, adding new deposit and security accounts. Go to the Deposits tab and click the plus icon in the top right, and click Add Account. Double-click the newly created account to rename it. Similarly, do the same for securities accounts by clicking on the tab, and clicking on the plus icon. Double-click the newly created account to rename it, and change the reference account if needed. How to handle options. Portfolio Performance does not provide support for options. If you want to keep track of options, you will have to create your own custom security and manually update the price. First, create the options for the underlying stock. I recommend naming them debit options and credit options because your performance chart and calculation tab will be messed up if you use the same stock. How to enter net credit positions. Cash secured puts, covered calls, iron condors, etc. If you receive premium, this is how I handle them. Under the Deposit Accounts tab, go to your selected cash account and make a sell transaction. In this example, I'm writing 1 put options on AAPL. Add 1 cent to the premium that you receive. I'll explain this in the next step. These figures are just examples. You need to buy back the option if you want your performance and calculation to show your profit from the premium received. Portfolio Performance doesn't support $0 stock transactions, which is why we need to add the 1 cent. Set the date to either 1 minute after the sell order, or the expiry date. You can always change the date later on when you actually close your position. This way, we are simulating the effect of receiving the full premium. This method is not perfect since it won't track the price of the daily change in price of your options, so it might show spikes in your performance on the days you write or close your position. Also, it will not show the fluctuation of your portfolio value because of the change in option prices. Net debit positions are simpler since you just buy them once, though it can be annoying to update the price. For trades with multiple legs, I just treat them as one option each. For example, An iron condor with 4 legs will just be one share unless I open more than one of them. Don't forget to leave a note for your options so you can keep track of the expiry and strike. And with that, we're done. The rest of the features can be explored on your own. I like Portfolio Performance because it's a very powerful tool for tracking my portfolio. Even the latest versions do not support buying back stocks at $0 or short selling. If you know a better portfolio tracker that can handle options and supports stocks from multiple exchanges, please let me know. Otherwise, Portfolio Performance is a decent alternative to a spreadsheet. I have added my blog post in the description below if you prefer reading.